What is up, weather enthusiasts? I'm your host, Pat's Path Predictor. Let's get right into the weather. Alright, so here's the situation we have for you, ladies and gentlemen. We have the big event that is coming up on Friday. We are only 2 days out from this thing, and right now it is currently over Idaho. The low pressure system is making its way towards Colorado, where from there on out it's going to be expected to bomb out and produce a lot of weather, especially winter weather, across Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, and even into the mid-Atlantic and New England. So we're going to have to pay attention to this. And then following this storm, we're looking at a potentially massive Arctic blast from what I've been looking at, with some temperatures as low as -10 according to some models, or even lower than that as a air temperature, not a wind chill. So we're going to have to pay attention to that. But before we get into the winter weather, we need to talk about the severe weather, because there's going to be some severe weather that is going to be generated with this. And we're seeing, quite frankly, a very massive uptick when it comes to the risks, at least for day 3. Day 2, we have a slight risk issued for Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas right here. And our tornado risk is at 5%. And our wind risk is at 15%, and our hail risk is at 15%. So our biggest threats early on are the wind and hail risk, although a couple of tornadoes are not out of the question at this current point right now. And here's the summary. Strong thunderstorm development is possible Thursday night into Friday morning from the central and east Texas into the lower Mississippi Valley. Strong gusts and tornadoes are the primary threats right now. So we're going to have to pay attention to this, as this could be a potentially overnight event as we go into Friday, where we now have an enhanced risk of severe weather issued from North Carolina all the way to Alabama. The probabilistic is 30 hatched, which means there is a 30% probability of significant severe weather, which means we're looking at EF2 plus tornadoes, potentially 75-mile-per-hour wind gusts, or 2-inch hail, or a combination of the three happening within 25 miles of a point. And even the summary that we're taking a look at right here, enhanced risks for severe weather issued from North Carolina to Alabama. Severe thunderstorms with the potential to produce high winds and a few strong tornadoes are possible across parts of the southeast Friday through Friday evening. So this looks like, as of right now, we're looking at this current point, the wind and tornado threat to be the strongest threat, and we are looking at some wind shear to happen. And this is also in association with that bomb cyclone that is going to be organizing and developing first over Colorado, then meandering through Kansas and Oklahoma, and then really bombing out over Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana as this thing gets really strong and impacts a lot of areas in the Midwest with very heavy snow. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. We're going to go ahead and talk about the National Weather Service, because there is some winter weather event alerts already out at the time of recording this video. By the time this video does get out to you guys, we probably are going to see some more winter weather alerts right now. But for right now, we have a winter storm watch in effect for parts of Nebraska and Iowa. We're going to go ahead and show that right here. For the winter storm watch, heavy snow is possible. According to this, we're looking at 5 to 7 inches possible, with winds gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. There's also a wind chill watch in effect for these areas, with dangerously cold wind chills possible with as low as 40 below zero. So we're going to have to pay attention to this as this Arctic blast really starts to take effect, and we're going to show you that right now. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and give you the timing of what we're potentially looking at, not just in the Chicago area. I was just using that to see what we're potentially looking at and updating the totals, but also throughout much of the Midwest. We have an Alberta Clipper system moving through Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan tomorrow, and then the main event starts tomorrow evening. So we start seeing the snowstorm starting to organize and develop over Kansas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Iowa, and Missouri, starting around 6 p.m. tomorrow, and where the pressure on this is 996 millibars. Pay very close attention to the pressure, because it is expected to decrease at a very alarming rate. So this thing starts to organize. Further, we're down to 996. Once again, the next 24 hours are going to be very important, so be sure you watch this as we continue to show you. 997 to start with, and then pretty much by 6 a.m. on Friday, much of the Chicago area starts getting impacted by snow. Pressure's down to 993 millibars. The pressure continues to fall as more snow continues to fall in the Chicago area. St. Louis gets really impacted by wind and rain as of right now. However, it is expected to transition into snow on the back end of this towards St. Louis. The pressure's already down to 985. Pretty much between 3 p.m. and midnight Friday are going to be the worst effects of snow in Chicago, in Indiana, in Michigan, Wisconsin, particularly Milwaukee, Madison, and the Wow counties. And pretty much going through this thing continues to move through. The pressure's down to 977, then it drops down to 976, 975 millibars. So we're already looking at a very fast pressure drop, which is pretty on par right here. 973 millibars. It was at 997 24 hours before this. Now we're down to 973. It hit that 24 millibar drop in 24 hours. That's what's considered a bomb cyclone. And a bomb cyclone like this has the huge potential, a pretty large potential rather, of bringing some blizzard conditions potentially. What are blizzard conditions? Blizzard conditions are basically conditions of 35 plus mile per hour wind gusts and visibility of a quarter mile or less for 3 hours or more in a selected area. When you get those conditions possible, that's when you get your blizzard warning. If we go ahead and show you the wind speed at 925 millibars as of right now, it's not exactly the best indicator of what we're potentially looking at on the ground, but already only 500 meters up, we're looking at winds like 40 miles per hour for this whole system, which if this translates down correctly, and as we continue to get into the overnight, we're looking at maybe 40, 45 mile per hour wind gusts if these hold, of course. But in the meantime, we're going to have to pay attention to that as we continue to see more data kind of come in and really start to bring stuff happening. And then we have lake effect snow kind of going after this, and this is going to be continuing for quite some time, and then pretty much that's what we're looking at. Here's the situation we have with total snow accumulation for a lot of these areas. This is the 12Z GFS as of what we're looking at over here. Let's go ahead and zoom in for the Chicago area to kind of get a better understanding of what we're looking at. For a lot of the Chicago area, pretty much anywhere from a foot to 16 inches is possible throughout all this area, but western Michigan gets absolutely crushed by this. So we're going to have to pay attention to that as that lake effect. Grand Rapids is looking at 28 inches of snow. Milwaukee's looking at 15 to 16 inches. Madison 16, and even in areas around the Wow counties and just in the exurbs of Milwaukee and Madison, we're looking potentially up to 20 inches of snow with this. So this thing is not messing around, and this thing is going to pose a very serious threat. And we also have an Arctic threat that's kind of going to be coming right after this. The Arctic blast is going to be moves through a couple of days previously. We're going to go ahead and zoom on back out to the continental United States. The GFS on January 16th pretty much has anywhere this is the 15th and 16th, has anywhere from Montana all the way to the Chicago area in pretty much below 0 temperatures Fahrenheit. And even as far south as Kansas, we're seeing this with some potential wind chills if these winds kind of pick up a little bit. We're at 8-9 miles per hour. We're looking at wind chills maybe around 20 below 0. So we're going to have to pay attention to that as this Arctic blast moves through. The GEM GDPS is also showing this thing even worse, but given the fact that this thing really overestimates that, and it has like 0 degree temperatures as far south as Dallas, even though in the GFS they're getting like 17 to 22 degrees, depending on where you are in the DFW area. Yeah, I'm not going to be using that as much. But one thing I am going to be using is both the GFS and European for our snow accumulation right here. GFS is showing those totals, and we're going to have to pay attention to this as we continue to show more information and get that out. But I'm also paying attention to the European as well, as they're showing some pretty big snow for the Chicago area, and especially in parts of Michigan. They're seeing totals that are absolutely crazy. In parts of the Chicago area, we're seeing anywhere from around 18 inches of snow according to the European, and even in northwest Indiana, we're getting 16. But in Michigan, we're looking at 2+ feet of snow right here. So we're going to have to pay attention to all this stuff as we continue to see more information continue to trickle in. Even the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, we're looking at similar snowfall totals, mainly due to the lake effect that's going to be kind of following suit from this. Right here, and in the European generally is one of the more conservative models, at least tentatively and previously. But from what we're looking at this point, the Euro and the GFS seem to be in agreement to some extent, as here's what we're seeing with the GFS right here. The GFS right here. We're seeing pretty much a lot of areas in Michigan get absolutely pummeled. The Chicago area getting like 12 to 18 inches of snow, and even as into Wisconsin, we're looking at areas potentially up to 18 to 20 inches of snow in parts of Sheboygan. Here's the European for you right there. Boom. We're looking at more snow pretty much everywhere, and it's kind of more spread out, but it's in general agreement with the GFS, although it brings more snow total as it brings more precipitable water. That's how this stuff works. The more precipitable water you have, the more snow is going to fall. So that's what we have with the European model at this current point in time. The GEM GDPS has been kind of all over the place. So we'll have to pay attention to that. But interestingly, the GEM GDPS is calling for another snowstorm to hit in the midwestern part of the United States on the 13th and the 14th and into the 15th. Right here. So I want to see how this plays out, because I'm not really seeing any other models that are advocating for this setup right here. But either way, if this does hold, that could definitely bring some heavy snow. But this is what we're looking at accumulation wise before this. The GEM GDPS is bringing some stuff before that. In a lot of the Chicago area, I feel like the estimates are a bit low right here. They're like 7 to 8 inches as of right now. And me personally, looking at this, based off of what I've been looking at, I think it's a little bit low. Maybe anywhere like around like 8+ inches is what I'm thinking at this current point in time. I definitely think 12 to 18 inches is still plausible. The Europeans been holding at that pretty much for the last day or so. I'm holding it. I can't really give an official snowfall estimate at this current point in time, but anywhere, in my opinion, from like 8 to 18 inches of snow is not out of the question. It's not off the table, but this isn't an official Pat's Path Predictor forecast or anything like that. It's just my personal opinion on this. So what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next is the National Weather Service WFOs across Rockport, across Chicago, and even into South Bend and all these areas in Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Michigan, they're going to have to issue some sort of watch. They're most likely going to issue a winter storm watch, but be given them a bit of uncertainty of the models of how much is going to fall. They're probably going to do a situation where they're going to do something in excess of, instead of snowfall accumulation of blank to blank inches. And the reason I think they're going to do that is because they're going to wait for more information to come in. And then on Thursday, which is tomorrow, they're going to be issuing some sort of warning. I don't know if it's going to be a blizzard warning. I'm not sure if it's going to be a winter storm warning. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. But we'll keep you updated every step of the way here on the Pat's Path Predictor channel. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and close the video out right here. I really hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. It helps us out, helps us make more videos like these. The goal of this channel is to get more people engaged with weather. And if you want to see the behind the scenes of these videos or just kind of ask us some more questions, be sure to join the Storms United Discord server. The link to it is right over there. But with that being said, have a wonderful day, guys. Stay safe.